This is the Pal Talk News Network.
The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of paltalk.com, AVN Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users. On demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on Blip TV and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not. No retribution, and thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show, and I remind you that you should be going to paltalknewsnetwork.com, and you should be going there early and often, just like voting in Chicago, because the stories of this morning have already been replaced by fresh stories of this afternoon and evening. As we bring you up to date on the things you need to know to be an informed citizen of the world, stories that you may or may not see, hear, or read in the mainstream press. I am particularly proud of a story written by our correspondent in Detroit, Joanne Brady, about Rich Man, Poor Man. Which is a series of seminars that supposedly is supposed to help you get rich quick in this failing real estate market by getting depressed properties and buying them and flipping them and making a profit. And, of course, they collect tens of thousands of dollars from these people who go to these seminars. Joanne Brady went to a seminar and uncovered what's going on in there. It's a very well-written and very well-sourced article, and you ought to read it. It's on the front page of the Pal Talk News Network site, paltalknewsnetwork.com, because it helps you, even if you don't come in contact with this particular organization, get a sense of some of the opportunities that are out there and the ones that might set off alarm bells in your head, and you have to learn how to listen to those alarms when they go off. Follow your intuition. Well, if you're looking, or if you have looked at the paltalknewsnetwork.com site today, you will see among many of the other fine articles there, one about a nun in Phoenix, Arizona. She has been excommunicated, vice president of St. Joseph's Hospital Medical Center in Phoenix, because she approved a life-saving abortion. She approved this therapeutic abortion for a woman who is 11 weeks pregnant when she developed a life-threatening case of pulmonary hypertension. Sister Margaret McBride approved the procedure after consulting with the patient, her family, and the hospital's ethics committee. But the local bishop excommunicated her anyway, because under any circumstances, I guess, by strict interpretation of canon law, if you participate in the abortion of a baby, you shall be excommunicated if you are a member of the Roman Catholic faith. Interestingly, 11 weeks does not allow for viability of a baby. So had the mother, at least at this stage of the pregnancy, died, the fetus or the baby would not have survived anyway. So they would have threatened the lives of both the mother and the child. I don't particularly get it, especially since I don't see the Catholic Church excommunicating pedophile priests. In fact, they don't even dial 911 when somebody reports a pedophile priest. They transfer the priest to another parish to prey on other children. Now, look, I'm not anti-Catholic. I'm not anti-priest. And I don't believe that most priests are pedophiles by any stretch of the imagination. But for goodness sakes, this was a medical procedure necessary to save the life of the mother. And most people who I know who are anti-abortion allow in their argument against abortion an exception when it's necessary to save the life of the mother. But apparently not in this case. Sister Margaret McBride, or shall I say Margaret McBride, I guess I can't call her sister any longer, was excommunicated after a long career as a nun who rose through the ranks to become vice president of this hospital. Somebody suggested to me in an email she should have transferred the patient to another hospital. Can't perform the procedure in a Catholic hospital. Well, the procedure would have been performed had she transferred the mother anyway. And she would have facilitated that by transferring the mother to another hospital. So what's the difference? I don't quite understand the distinctions. Maybe some of you can expound on them for me and explain them to me. Let's start with Cassandra in the United Kingdom. Cassandra, welcome to News Talk Online on the Pal Talk News Network.
Thank you very much, Gary. Well, I think it's the utmost in hypocrisy. That's how I feel. And this and this has to go back. You know, it may have been the bishop that did it, but it's following the dictates of the Catholic Church. If you can say that it's okay for some people to interfere with young children, give them a slap on the wrist and say don't do it again, but carry on, and then you can castigate somebody and ruin their careers. And it was a career for her, obviously. That she, who is there to save lives, is actually penalised because she saves life. I think that is the height of hypocrisy. I think it's yet another thing that the Catholic Church really needs to address, and not sort of get into the reality of things. It doesn't matter if somebody said, is she a nurse or a nun? She's both. Surely.
Well, no, she's not a nurse. I don't know that she's a nurse, but she was the vice president.
But she sanctioned it
of the hospital. Right? She sanctioned it.
Yeah,
yes.
She sanctioned it. She sanctioned the saving of life. Well, I would hope that most hospitals we go in were actually there to save life and not to take life away. It's the ultimate in hypocrisy, in my opinion, Gary.
Well, people who are anti-abortion don't like to be called anti-abortion. They like to be called pro-life. If you are pro-life, and the Catholic Church has pro-life bumper stickers that they put out. If you're pro